give and they get. Then they run around town beating their chests like they forget. I can forget for now, but I won't never forget. No, love how I feel, knowing the universe got my back. Whoa, love how I feel, knowing that money gon' come right back.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Journey Podcast. If you are here, please subscribe, like, drop a comment, give us 5 stars on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, wherever you get your podcasts. I know it's been a couple weeks since we dropped an episode. Took a little break, little hiatus, but we're back. Internal episode.
Let's get it.
Hello.
Here we are. What's up, gang?
We do a classic internal episode. When we first started the pod, how we would normally do it is like we would just, how you feeling, Like
how you guys doing?
Yeah.
How we feeling?
I guess we'll start with that.
Yeah.
Cousin Z.
What's going on?
How you feeling?
I'm good. Just got back from Dallas.
Oh, yeah. How was your trip?
That was fun.
It's dope.
Yeah,
have you been to Dallas before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been to Dallas. I lived in Texas, but
Yeah.
no, Dallas is dope, bro. It's a cool city.
Is it? I've never been.
Yeah.
I've been to San Antonio. She was whack.
Yeah.
Sorry, Texas.
Nah, Dallas is a cool city, bro. It was Cinco de Mayo weekend, so it was pretty active.
Wow.
The
That's a good
strip.
point. Yeah, I saw you in the club a little bit.
Yeah. We got a
There
section.
you go.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a
seen it.
section. It was
So as
fun.
someone
yeah.
that's not like a club guy, how is that?
It
Because
was-
you're not a club guy.
You're not-
No.
Yeah.
No,
That's
no.
why I kind of said that, because I kind of figured you're not really like okay.
No, it was cool though. It was fun. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like we were with a good group of guys.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We had a
Yeah, that's
nice
most
little
important.
squad.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, everyone's cool down there. You know what I'm saying? Like really no like weird shit going
Yeah.
on.
Because everyone's strapped.
Yeah, that's what I was worried
Everybody's
about.
No, not even worried. Fuck that. It's actually a good thing. Everybody's carrying down there. Ain't nobody's acting up down there.
There you
Right,
go.
that is true.
Saying,
Yeah.
nobody's acting up down
Yeah,
there.
I was just like like in the club, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
you know,
alcohol and
dudes,
shit,
alcohol,
yes, I
start
get it.
acting dumb, but
For sure.
no, it was cool, bro. Yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I can't
Traveling
complain.
is very important for the soul. Traveling is very important in my opinion. I used to travel a lot, and then business and got busy, and I could feel it. Like I could feel when I don't travel for an extended period of time, I get like antsy. I'm like, I want to get out. So traveling is good.
Yeah, no, I definitely felt good. I felt that like I needed to go. That's why I was like, yeah, I'm going. You know what I'm
fuck
saying?
yeah,
It was
yeah.
just like I gotta go because I felt very very stagnant, very built up.
Yeah,
Still do a little bit, but like it just it
helps.
released that a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just get your mind off of shit.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
And I get a lot of inspiration from traveling randomly, like just random, like going to a new place and experience different cultures and different towns and different food and different music and different people and people watching and just everything. You're taking in the environment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think
Yeah.
that's very important. So it's dope.
Yeah.
What about you?
Good, bro.
There's a lot of shit going on over
No.
there. You guys haven't noticed Jake hasn't gotten a haircut in I don't know how long it's been.
Still, yeah.
And I like it. So.
Yeah. New beginnings, man. New beginnings, bro. I spent so like what would you say, like what do you spend majority of your time, would you say that you do?
Working.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's weird. And I feel like maybe a lot of people won't. I think that you guys can understand this, but I don't
Right.
think a lot of people will understand this. But I work 24/7 in my head. It doesn't need to be physical. I could be sitting on my couch on my laptop. Okay, maybe that's physical. I could be listening to music and driving, and I could see this again, just because this sounds stupid. Like I see that electrolyte fucking font right there.
Right.
That'll stick in my brain, and maybe I like that. I'm like, oh, maybe that could be on a T-shirt. So like my perspective is always on fucking go.
Yeah.
So in my head, I'm always working.
Right.
Whether I wake up, whether I'm laying in bed thinking about something, listening to music, or whatever the case may be. So really, even the only time I feel like I'm not working is like in the gym, you know, where I'm not focused on anything else. I'm just trying to focus on, and I don't look at this like work either, even though again it kind of is,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, right.
But we just enjoy doing it, so it doesn't feel like it. But at the end of the day, this is work.
Right.
So that's what takes up the most of my time, in my opinion.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
Right,
I look
right,
at
right.
everything from a perspective that like I could go and create from this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I would say.
And then like what's your motivation behind working?
My motivation behind working is
Like if you had a mission, like what are you trying to get done?
personally, for myself, it's freedom. It's to be able to do whatever the fuck I want. And again, that's different for everybody. To do whatever the fuck I want, whenever the fuck I want, with whoever the fuck I want.
Love it.
Under no circumstances that are holding me back. And I also want that for the people around me. Family, friends, loved ones, yada, yada. So those are the two things. It's to be able to wake up, not going to say no stress, because there's always going to be different levels of stress regardless of the success you have or that you don't have. You're always going to be stressed. So I'm not going to sit here and say one of my goals is to never be stressed. Without any stress, you probably wouldn't feel like you're alive. Right. But freedom for me and my people, and to just be able, just to be a provider, just to provide for myself and for the people that are around me. That's where I fall into, because the 9 to 5 isn't really going to do that. You know, it's just be able to take care of yourself. But more so, I really just feel like I'm a nurturer at heart. I just want to take care of everybody. I want to be that friend in 10 years. If somebody has a business idea and they have nobody else to turn to for money or connections or whatever the fuck, you come to me, I got you. Shit like that. Just be able to help people while also helping yourself. Overflowing yourself so that overflow goes to everybody else that's around you. That's really where I draw the most inspiration. Whether it's my mother or whoever the fuck, doesn't matter. I
feel the exact same way. Now, where do you think that comes from? Like, why do you feel that? Because like another person, you know, like they're just
streamlining their life.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
that's a big ask out of life. I spend my days working because I'm trying to build a future where I don't have to listen to anybody. Yeah. I could do things for everyone. I could have freedom. I could travel. That's a big like.
And there's a lot of ego in that. At the end of the day, right? So I think that for me, it comes from a little bit of that alpha male ego in it. Like, yeah, I don't want to listen to nobody, you know? But it's not like that. It's not like, no, fuck you. So I listen to people. I still have the end all be all say in my life and my business. But hopefully you could be able to be smart enough to take it for where it's coming from, basically, right? Take for whatever's saying and take a little bit of where it's coming from. But where that comes from, I mean, I'm not going to say that I didn't have anything growing up. I did. I grew up middle class. My parents made sure that I had whatever I really needed to get through life the way that I needed to. You know, I went to Catholic school, so I'm not going to sit here and say we were poor. We weren't rich. But like, it kind of comes from, I don't want to live like that for the rest of my life. I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying it was streamlined. I don't want to live streamlined. I want to live at the top of whatever my comfortability is. Everybody's comfortability is different. If you were to ask somebody what is their monetary financial number of comfortability, everybody's going to be different. I tell people all the time, I don't need $100 million. I don't need $100 million. Would I like it? Yeah, of course. But a lot of responsibility comes with that. A couple $1 million, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need this exorbitant amount of money. So it's hard to say where it comes from. It just comes from me not wanting to live a normal life. There's nothing about me that's normal, and there's nothing about me that's average, and I don't want to live like there is. And whatever comes with that, comes with that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I love that, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Because, all right, so like when you go to live that type of lifestyle, which we all kind of are pursuing, is trying to create that, I feel like the only way you can live that life is when you are aligned like with your purpose, like when you're doing what you're supposed to do and like what God has set you out to do. And I was watching Malak and Janko, and George was like getting on Mike because he feels like Mike is so much more purposeful than he's displaying right now with his life. Right. And George was like, Mike, like, I'm telling you this because I want you to work out of motivation rather than desperation. He's like, because if you wait too long, like, God will break you down. He was like, the moment I tried to go against the grain and like do everything on my own, you know, he broke me down. He took everything away to build me to that, you know? So like that's what's tough, is because like I feel like sometimes when we're doing this, we don't use the motivation while we have it and the momentum, and then what we do is we wait and wait and wait, and then we have to try to survive out of desperation because we did that to ourselves, you know? So it's hard when you are following your purpose, it's easier to act out of motivation, you know? But like when like a lot of people listening and a lot of people around our age, they can't find that. They don't have that purpose. So now they're acting out of desperation and they're just trying to figure shit out all the time. And that's when it can get like really rough and stressful. And
it could get rocky,
you know,
for sure. It could definitely get rocky. I saw a quote the other day that said something similar to what you said, like, God will break you down and then build you up in front of everybody that helped break you, you know? And I feel like what we were just talking about before is creating out of desperation or creating out of comfortability. There's a very fine line there, because when you create out of desperation, whatever that desperation might be, it doesn't have to be financial. But for me, it's always kind of started with that. And when you're creating from a place where you have nothing, It's bittersweet because you are raw, clean slate, basically, but you're also building from a place where, all right, how am I going to pay the bills, right? So I also kind of, at least the only way that I could look at it from creating clothing is when I didn't have anything, or even in the middle of my career where I didn't have anything, and I was trying to figure out what was going to sell. And to think about it from that perspective is bittersweet because you always kind of got to look at it like that. But I've also been at a height where we're bringing in a lot of money and my creativity went down, right? Because it was just so streamlined that I didn't have that oh shit, I got to make this happen because it was happening. So you didn't really understand what was going on in the moment when you were making a decent amount of money until like you stopped making it. Yeah. So it's super bittersweet, super very, very, very bittersweet. But you need it, like you said, because you need the ups and downs. You can't just be going up the whole time. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Purpose in terms of creating. I mean, that's the place where you all want to go, but it's so hard to get there. I feel like I'm someone with a tremendous amount of purpose, but purpose is very elusive because life is very seductive, so even for me, like there's so much times where I get fired up about the things that I want to do, but I don't do them because it's so easy to fall into instant gratification or like temptation, and even just like when momentum stops, because purpose is very like momentous. Yeah. Fucking love that word, bro. Momentous. You know what I'm saying? That's a good fucking like. Because I'm personally someone, and I feel like this is where people can see me and think that I could be like soft in some ways or maybe misunderstand me. Yeah. Is like, bro, I'm an energy guy, and I when I have energy, I love to work. But when I don't have energy, I don't love to work. Yeah. Because it's like I almost feel like when I don't have energy, I almost feel like how could I not have energy to do something that I'm supposed to do? If I'm supposed to do it, I'm gonna have energy to do it.
Or that you love.
And I've seen that more often than not. So I find a lot of times spinning my wheels, in life, you asked, before, how am I doing? Yeah. And I'm doing very good, bro. I'm doing very good. That's but, like, I'm trying to, like, now I'm kind of in a place where I will say that my spiritual life is just as important to me as my personal life. And that's just as important to me as my business life, as my career. And, so, like, there's just so much to do. Like, there's so much going on in terms of, like, what type of energy do I have? And I'm taking, energy out of places that I had it because I need to bring it over here now. And I need to, nourish this other area of my life. For me, bro, it's been crazy, bro. I'm speaking with an ex-girlfriend. I'm speaking with who's a new girlfriend.
Yeah, how's that going?
I mean, bro, I'm good. Pretty much. I would say I'm 99% close to girlfriend. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, it's really like on that level, and that's been excellent because.
You think that time apart from each other really helped you guys in the grand scheme of things? You guys had like 4 years apart, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you miss, like, you guys miss each, like, you know what I'm saying? That cliche that they always say, fucking absence makes the fucking heart grow fonder, yada yada. That shit is real.
Dude, one thing I'll say is, like, if you love someone and it's just not working, break up. Yeah. And just, bro, pick it back up 4 or 5 years. Yeah. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, bro, like that could be an agreement between couples, between partners. Like, I can certainly tell you if the way your girl leaves her toothbrush, if you're fired up about that, you know what I'm saying? Anything small, like if there's any small behavior about your girl that like really fires you up, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And that's where I was at with my girl. There was so much trauma, bro. There was so much like aggression towards each other because I went through her phone on this day, and then she said I wasn't allowed to go out on this day, and then I found out she was sleeping with this person on that day, and you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And all this stuff adds up to where like you're with someone else, but you're not really with them because you're with an idea of who they are, but the idea of who they are is like not even actually who they are. It's just a piece of shit. and they think you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And that's what you got. And I don't personally think. I think that if you like to really work through problems together, it would take you hiring an exceptional couples therapist, and it would take the both of you reading books and the both of you understanding communication but bro, what's like, are you gonna do that? No. So it's like you might as well just split, come back. It's not even come back. That's the other misconception I saw. For me, if I left my girl with the intention of getting back with her, I would have never gotten over her because I would have always done everything for her. When we broke up, I loved this girl so much that I spent the first year, even the first 3 years of us being separated, praying almost every night. Yeah. You know, thinking about the books that I'd write. What would I put before chapter 1 for Alex? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah. And you know, but you know, that's why for me it's been a shock because, you know, it's like now I'm dealing with, you know, potentially the love of my life. So that's in my life, you know, and then I look at like from a career standpoint. Yeah. You know, bro, I'm doing a lot of really amazing things, more behind the scenes now, you know, signed with a major talent agency.
Oh, fuck yeah.
We decided that we were going to take the pod more serious.
Oh, yeah.
There are opportunities there every day. I mean, bro, just today, Giovanni Ruffin, the guy who's in the Eric Thomas When You Want to Succeed as Bad as You Want to Breathe video.
The most famous fucking speech.
Got connected with him today. Bro, the kid in Insidious, Dalton, you ever see Insidious?
Yeah.
Followed me on Instagram today. He could be on the pod next week.
Yeah.
You know, we're planning an LA trip, so from the pod is up and running. I'm speaking with multiple companies right now to lock in like a real backing, a real partner, you know, similar to Evermore, but now with my own personal brand. You know, we have, you know, and I say last thing, from a YouTube perspective, I have 6 videos, you know, that I'm like really thinking about doing, and I can like do them all at the same time. And so, you know,
things are coming together.
So there's like this. So there's like this relationship, this beautiful relationship that I'm in. That's also really fucking hard, and we can go into that.
Yeah, I'd love to.
But I also have this amazing career and like business life. Also, the fucking brand that I invested into. What yada yada, whatever. We can get into that. Yeah. And then from a spiritual perspective, I've been actually learning a lot about trauma, bro. I've been listening to Gabor Mate a lot lately, and I have some issues with me that the meditation hasn't helped, that the reading hasn't helped. Yeah. So I'm not going to say that I'm thinking about like going into therapy, but I'm certainly more open to the idea about talking about things I never have. So
it's amazing.
That's
fucking amazing.
Yeah, so
that's super dope. That's
a lot, bro. It's a lot going on.
It's a lot going on.
I understand I took the floor.
No.
But that was like, this is a moment in time.
Yeah,
you know what
fuck
I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. The pieces are falling together the way that they're supposed to, or falling apart the way that they're supposed to. Whatever. I you know, it's one of the cliche things, and this doesn't necessarily only have to be with people, but it's like if you love something, they say to let it go, and if it comes back to you, then like it was meant to be, yada yada. That shit goes for a lot of things, bro. That shit goes for people. That shit goes for friendships. That shit goes for romantic, you know, romance. That shit goes for ideas. That shit goes for jobs. Like this shit goes for everything. So it's everything's gonna happen the way that it's supposed to, when it's supposed to, how it's supposed to. You know what I'm saying?
That's a bar.
I mean, it's the truth.
It's a bar.
It's truth. It's the truth, bro. And it's not easy, though. That's the thing. It's like we sit here and we say these things, or I sit there and I watch people talk about that, and you think that it's just like so easy. Like, yeah, just let everything be. You know what I mean? Yeah, bro. Yeah, it's not that fucking easy to just let everything be, because when you're somebody like me, I really like to, and this is where my OCD comes into effect, and I try to get a grip of it, but I just like to be in control. That's why I drive everywhere, let's say, because I want to leave, I'm out. You know what I mean? So it's like there's like this analogy there, and it's not like that serious, but like it also kind of is. Like, I want to do what I want to do, when I want to do it, how I want to do it, with who I want to do it, and I don't want nobody fucking telling me what's this and what's that. So it's there's a lot going on, but I feel that. But we should get into, I don't know, what do you guys want to get into?
I was gonna say, kind of what I want to talk about, what I've been going with is thinking it, like, I still haven't even done it yet, but like trying to get like closer to God.
Yeah.
And
I love that.
because yeah, that's like, I you know, they say like God will continuously like put signs in your life to give you pointers, right? To give you those omens, and it's like how many times you have to see it before you take action. And I feel like that has happened to me a lot. Like there's a lot of things that I see, a post on Instagram, a story, a podcast, you know, and it's God. And like I speak about God, but I've never really gave it a real chance. You know, I've never really like totally dove into it and been completely locked in, because I didn't grow up that way. You know what I'm saying? I didn't grow up in the church. I didn't grow up religious. I never really understood it. Kind of shunned God when my mom died. So it was like this kind of like this whole thing where I was like, I don't believe in it, you know? Like I believe there was something. I was more of like a universe guy, right? But like just the term God that I was trying to get closer. And I've actually had like, I've just had a very lull period for, I'd say majority of the beginning of this year of just feeling stuck. Yeah. And I think especially in our 20s, we put so much pressure on ourselves to be successful and to have things figured out and to look at the way that we want our life to be and then not have it and then feel discouraged. And we want perfection, you know? And I actually was sitting the other day in my thoughts, and I was like, you know, I like spoke. It was like one of the first times I spoke to God, and I was like, you know, God, like I understand what you're doing with me, and I know I'm not perfect, but I know that you'll put me where I need to be as long as I'm just better than I was yesterday. Mm-hmm. And once I said that to myself, like I almost felt a sigh of relief, because like I'm very hard on myself, and I feel like when things aren't going the way that they should, I tend to shut down. I may not show it, but I shut down mentally and internally, and I really don't have motivation to do things. Same. And once I said that to myself, like, yo, you're not going to be perfect, you know? Like, you're not going to have this shit figured out. It's not going to be the way that you want it, but if you can do something every single day to be better than you were yesterday, and doing something that's going to work towards the life that you want to live, like, you have to be okay with that. And you have to allow those anxieties and that stress, like, give that shit to God. Yeah. You know, like, let him handle that, and then just go, like, enjoy the ride. And once I said that to myself, I felt a sigh of relief, because I have been very, very discouraged with myself and habits and behaviors and stuff like that. And then I question, you know, why is my life this way? And, you know, and then you have to look in the mirror, and it's like, are you doing the shit that you're supposed to be doing? And if the answer is no, then like, how can you be mad? You know, like that's where it starts. And it's hard, because we do get a lot of praise, you know, a lot of people look at you like that. The most viral clip I've ever had, like that, like that's the truth, you know. It's like, I said, like, it's hard, like when everyone around you's praising you and telling you how good you're doing, and they look at you, and then like you go back in the bed, you know, and put your head on that pillow, and you're like, it doesn't mean anything, you know. Like I never feel like the need to pat myself on the back or do that shit. So that's why I feel like I'm at a point now where it's like I have to make a pivot towards like God or like something, you know. Like I have to make a pivot, because like this, it's not working, you know. And that's a tough point in a lot of people's lives, where you have to understand that, like, yo, if the shit's not working, you have to make a change, right? You know, you have to do something, you know. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. So I wanted to, and then like obviously to like bounce it back to you guys, like where are you guys at with God and that aspect of like, I guess, working with him to like better your life, you know? Cause like I've never tried it.
No, where you want me to go? Because I have first of all, I went to Catholic school from kindergarten through 12th grade, right? And I like what you just said, and I really hope that like this doesn't get taken in a wrong way for whoever listens to it, because like I think we can speak for all of us. We believe in God. I'm Roman Catholic. I don't know. I'm Christian, right? I like what you said, that it's when we say God, some other people just say universe. Some other people just say something else. It's all the same fucking thing to me, the way that I look at it. I don't go to church anymore. It's not because not that I was this crazy churchgoer, because I wasn't. I went during fucking elementary school throughout high school. But after that, it's just like holidays and whatever, just because, But I used to pray a lot. And then I discovered that I had OCD, and I started to like repeat my prayers, and it's like this OCD tick that I have. So I kind of stopped praying because I couldn't snap out of this like little OCD cycle that I had. It doesn't mean that I stopped talking to God. I just stopped talking to him specifically, like before bed, like get on your knees and say a prayer, But I would still talk to him. And more often than not, and I've spoke about this before, and not to be redundant, but I just start to like blame him when things aren't fucking going the way that that I thought that they were supposed to go. And that doesn't mean that you don't believe in him anymore. If anything, that means you do believe in him, but you just believe that he's not doing what you think that he's supposed to be doing. But like, that's not the case, because everything happens the way that it's supposed to happen, and it's hard to see it in the moment. But I feel like what you said, you felt a sigh of relief when you finally sat there and spoke to him. It's just kind of just like letting that shit out and just getting it out there. And that doesn't mean that you pray every fucking day and this thing is just going to change, right? It means that you pray every day and you become more self-aware about what's coming out during that prayer. Like when you go and sit and pray, for me now, when I do it, it's a different prayer every time. It used to be a very monotonous prayer because of the OCD. And I started to really like dive into that and be like, all right, well, it's just a waste. I was just doing it just to do it, just to get it out, just because I felt like it was this tick. It was this obsessive compulsion thing that I had. Now when I pray, it's a little bit different. I'm praying for different things every day. But when I sit there and I go talk to him and I have like this clean slate in my head, whatever comes out, it's just what's the most important thing to me at that time, whatever it is, whether it's fucking family, whether it's relationship, whether it's business. More often than not lately, it's been relationship and business, because business has been tough over the past like year and a half, 2 years, just because I'm trying to scale something and I'm building it on my own, and I'm really starting to feel like what I was talking about before had my highest high ever in 2022, and then in 23 it was more on a downslope, and now this year I'm working on getting it back up there, but I'm looking at it from a different perspective. So that's what I talk to him a lot about, and I just feel like he's never gonna. Well, again, the cliches are cliches because they're true. He gives his hardest battles to his toughest shoulders for a reason, because he knows how tough you are, and the only way to sharpen you is to put you through the fire, right? And it's tough to see that in the moment, but I ridicule him sometimes for that, because I feel like, when the fuck am I going to get a break, right? And you might not realize that, like, when you get that break, it's not sharpening you anymore. It just kind of like streamlines you, and we didn't ask to be streamlined. We asked to be made stronger and tougher, you know what I mean? And once you, it's hard to explain. Once you finally like surrender yourself to the universe. I use universe a lot too, and that's why I hope that people don't flip that into something. I believe in God. I believe in whoever. I think we all believe, whether it doesn't matter, Jewish, Muslim, Christian, we all believe in God. So we all believe in another power up there that's kind of this umbrella for everything, right? And that's why I hate like the and not to get into it because it's sensitive, but that's why I hate the hate between the religions, because we all fucking believe in something. How we got there is a different story, but we all, at the end of the day, when we sit down and we break bread, we all fucking believe in something. That's why a lot of these religious, like I have a lot of friends that are Muslim. That's why like Ramadan and Passover and Easter are all around the same fucking time. Like, you might believe in different specifics, but at the end of the day, we all believe in this, and this is the most important thing. And now, whatever you word that to be is what, like, bro, I believe, like, I more often than not nowadays, like, angel numbers. Like when I see 444 or 777 or even 666 or 222, when I see these numbers, I look at them from a different perspective now. A lot of them are on license plates. A lot of them are addresses. A lot of them are phone numbers. But they always pop up at these random times where I'm going through this during the day, or I just went through that, or I just thought about this and then I saw that. Like, a lot of people that are religious don't believe in that stuff. But like, I have this umbrella belief that all of this is connected somewhere. I believe in the astrology. And you're not really supposed to believe in that when you're religious. But like, I do, because I'm a Cancer to a fucking T. there's something there for me. I don't know what it is, and I don't know the science behind it. There's something going on there, and I end it with that because I believe that everything is connected. Everything is connected, and not that there's specifically somebody else pulling the strings, but he's watching over, and he's making sure that you are where you're supposed to be, whether you think you're supposed to be there or not. Whether it feels good or it feels bad, it's always positive, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So it's hard to explain.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's what fucks me up is like when you said like he's watching over, right? So it's like if you feel like there's eyes on you all the time, you know, that I think that's what steers me away from talking to him sometimes or trying to get closer to
you
God.
know he's always there anyway.
Yeah, because like there's almost this like shameful feeling of like, what do I look like trying to talk to God, asking him to answer my prayers when I can't even hold up my end of the bargain? Like, what do I look like asking you for help and I'm not even helping myself?
Yeah.
And I think that's what steers me away from like trying to get closer to God because I'm not so proud or happy with who I am. And then I'm the culprit of that. Like, I'm the reason that I feel that way. And then for me to go ask God for help, I feel like he would look at me and say, like, you're not even doing your job. You want me to do my job. You got to do your job. And I think I'm at the point now where like I have to make a change and like start doing my job so then I can speak to him and then feel confident when I ask for something. And then I'll have a stronger belief that I'll receive it because I'm holding up my end of the bargain. You know, a lot of people don't do shit with their life and they half-ass everything and then they ask God for shit and then expect it in return. It's like God will do his job, but you also have to do your job, you know?
Yeah, I like to start off prayers. When I don't pray for a long time, I always start my prayer off like, yo, I know I haven't spoke to you in a while and I'm sorry for that. I just ask for forgiveness because you're 100% right. It's like you can't just only go talk to him when things are going bad. You have to be grateful when things are going good too, and that's something that I wasn't when things were going good. And I think he knows that. I think that, like, we talk about this all the time. I talk about this all the time. I don't believe that everything is set in stone. I believe that everything happens for a reason, but I don't think that your path is written. I don't think that, like, right now as we speak, the universe knows that when we're all going to die. Like, I don't believe that. I don't think there's a date or a time or a way set. But I do think that everything that you do is your footprint moving forward. Like, everything that you do affects everything that's going to happen to you. I don't think it's set in stone, but I think that he is guiding you. Like, if there's a fork in the road and he knows that you could either go left or right, I don't think that he makes you pick. I think that both of them are going to lead to the same place. This one might be a little bit harder, but you're going to learn a lot more. And this one might be a little bit easier, and you're not going to learn, but you're still going to get there. But this way you learned more. It's a win on both sides because you still got to the same place. It might have took you a little bit longer. This one might get here first, but it took you to the same place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Can't believe I'm about to say this shit.
Yeah, yo, he's over there kind of just like just had some shit going on in your head over there. I saw it in the corner of my eye. You were letting us rock, and you were like, all right, I'm about to go in.
Well, no, I don't think. I mean, I'm just a guy. On a mic. So, I don't think it's a secret. I've had a great connection with God for a long time, both in religion and outside of religion. I would recommend for all three of us that we are also fucking hard on ourselves. And when we were in LA, I went on this therapist pod, and she said on the pod, she like psychoanalyzed me, you know, in live time. It was like, you are so hard on yourself. And I responded to her by being hard on myself. I was like, I'm not hard on myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, bro, even like just listening to us speak, we've spoken a lot about how we're not happy with where we are because we're not doing the things. And I mean, bro, just like you could probably count thousands, 10,000, 100,000 times you've had a negative belief about yourself. So I really don't think it's really about getting closer to God. Obviously, getting closer to God is always great. I think for one, it's about, bro, having what would be the word? Having an estate in your own kingdom, in your own mind. When's the last time you were truly comfortable in your own body, in your own mind, and you weren't always picking something apart about yourself? Because I am more negative to myself 90% of the time than ever anything positive. I might actually never be positive to myself. The only time I'm ever positive to myself is if I do something really, 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 really fucking hard.
Yeah.
And bro, say what you want about law of attraction, but like if that's the only time that you feel positive and positivity produces positivity, and the rest of the time you're feeling negative, then every time you're hard on yourself, you're just gonna get more of that. You being hard on yourself and things not working. So when I said I can't believe I'm about to say this, I can't believe I'm about to say this. When I mentioned the word the trauma word, bro, I never really thought about trauma, and I never really even knew what that meant. And to me, it was like a buzzword as a male. Like, like whatever, typical, like that it's not real, that's not real. And until I realized that I eat healthy, I get sleep, I meditate, I pray, I go to the gym, I have a tremendous career in front of me, I have great friends, great family, and I don't hate my life, but I hate my life more than I love it. More often than not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I there's very rarely do I have occasions that don't involve a woman where I feel like that's enough.
Yeah.
Very rarely am I alone and I feel whole. And that's, why I started thinking about the trauma word, because I'm like, from what the gift that, how trauma was sold to me was like, bro, we're all people. And a lot of the reason why we are the way we are is because of our upbringing. And unfortunately, things happen to us, especially as kids. There's formative years when we're kids. Things happen to us. And, bro, I'll go out and say it. Parents have no idea how to parent.
Yeah.
And parents fuck kids up. The worst thing you could do to a kid in terms of how that kid is going to feel about himself or herself in life is block their process. And that's what parents are. We're tremendous process blockers.
Yeah.
We're tremendous. Don't play with that. Don't do this. Don't wear that. Don't, no. It's tremendous. And then people, we learn, bro. Like, we learn that when we don't do something, we get a reward. So then we're confused because we're like, okay, like I could do what I love to do and get reprimanded, or I can just kind of fall in line and get a reward. And that's what society does.
That's a good point.
My cousin, bro, she knew she did not want to go to nursing school. Guess where she's at? Nursing school. Because she just spent the past 3 years bartending. And now, any time somebody asked her, what are you doing with your life? And she said, I'm a bartender. They reprimanded her.
Yeah.
But now when she says, I'm in nursing school, they're like, great job. But she's not fucking happy. So I'm actually kind of not falling in love, but I'm entering the realm of the trauma word, because the major thing that I hate about myself is how hard I am on myself. And the reason why I think that I'm hard on myself is because my dad never said good job. So I don't even know where to find good job in the world. To me, it's like I have to make $1 billion to hear that word, or I have to become the next professional athlete, or I have to do something that's so tremendous to feel secure. And I look at you, and bro, you lost your mom when you were 11, 12? 12. And bro, that was just one thing. That was just one piece right there. And what I've, kind of learned a little bit about trauma is that, I mean, I can't eat, like, that's a fucking nuclear explosion that dropped on you, you know, and we don't even, I feel like I was blind to it for so long. I was blind to, okay, my boy lost a parent, or this girl told me she was sexually, she was raped when she was 11. Like, there's things that happen to us, bro, that like, and everybody has their own like level of things, but so I would say that getting close to God is an amazing thing, but if you're trying to get close to God because you feel like you're not whole, I would work on feeling whole, and while that process getting close to God, because I am close to God, and it really doesn't make things much better.
You gotta get close to yourself first, I think. When you get close to yourself is when you get the closest to God, I guess, right? One of the things that you said, I have to pee
too. Can we break?
Yeah. Parent thing is good.
We don't talk about we talked about that in a while.
We don't really talk about the parent stuff. We don't.
It's true, bro. It's like how you're raised is like how you are. I mean, just to fucking. I mean, bro.
Mind focus.
Yes.
Okay.
We're
good.
We're
back.
One thing I will say though is my parents gave me. I think one of the reasons why I might be hard on myself, but I am also super resilient, and that's because, bro, I had so much love growing up.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And they say that's so important,
Fuck yeah.
So maybe like I'm not saying that my parents did the worst job in the world, but but yeah, no, I mean
just him not saying good job to you. It was probably more him just always wanting better.
Yeah.
For you, it probably still came from a place of love.
But that's what's fucked up, bro. Is because that then placed the belief in me, like I always need better,
better.
Like,
yeah, for
sure.
sure.
I wish my dad would have instilled peace in me.
Yeah.
Because really, what I crave more than anything in the world is actually just peace.
Yeah, which is freedom, I guess. Also, there's just that fine line there, right?
Yeah, freedom from
chaos.
Yeah.
Because you could always play both sides though to that, of what you said. What if he did tell you fucking good job when maybe you didn't deserve it,
right?
Because he was trying to make his son feel good, and now every time you did a little bit, you were satisfied.
Well, that's like the new
it's a blessing and a curse in a sense.
I just think, bro, like, all right, don't tell me good job if I didn't do a good job, but if I did a good job, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, that's one thing for me, bro. With my kids, like, I'm gonna tell my son or my daughter right from the start, you are a superstar.
Yeah.
You are a natural. Like, anything you want to do, like, bro, Lil Wayne has a bar about it. Like, I told my son whatever the sun touches, yours, Lil.
For
I told my son, whatever the sun touches, yours. Like, that's the best thing you could tell a kid, like, bro, right from birth. Because, I mean, bro, we look at all these people. I mean, bro, we live in a neurotic, psychotic, depressive, non-confident society. And, like, bro, why are we the way we are? And it's because that's how our parents feel.
Well, they give out participation trophies now, bro.
That's
really what it is. It's see, this is the thing when it comes to parents, and I'll preface that again. I grew up with a lot of love. All right, my parents were great, but one of the things about me that I noticed that was passed down from my parents, and this could also sound like kind of stupid, but to me it's not. It's that my parents were very strict on like time, on when I had to be home. I always had to be home earlier than everybody else, and I had to make my way home. Right, so I had to get home, and I always had to be home earlier than everybody else. And I also like had to answer the phone right away. You always had to answer whether it was a call or whether it was a text. I always had to be on top of my shit.
Right.
And it kind of came to me as an adult now. I'm a quick texter if I care about you, right? And I expect you to be too, right? And some people aren't. Some people just aren't like that. Some people don't like to text. Some people don't like to communicate that way, And I found myself really, really like. That was something that was fucking instilled in me to always be like on top of your shit when it comes to stuff like that, and it could roll over into relationships It's like you're texting your girl and she don't answer within an hour. Like, what? You didn't look at you start to think like, whoa, you didn't look at your phone. That nobody goes down. You know what I'm saying? And I started to realize it was because of my parents. Started to realize that I try for the most part to always be on time, right? Because if I wasn't, like I'm talking about like by the minute, like my father was like very military with shit like that. You know what I mean? And it really I started to see it in my adult life with a bunch of other things. Like I'm talking about like even pulling up to a friend's house and if he takes 10 minutes to come outside. Like if I was somewhere and my dad was outside, motherfucker, you better be outside in 30 seconds. I'm here. Let's go. You're wasting my time. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it really I really started to feel it as an adult. And it's not necessarily like the right thing to do because some people didn't grow up like that, but like I grew up like that, and it starts to affect relationships, starts to affect friendships, starts to affect everything. You know what I mean? And the other thing that I wanted to say, I forgot what you said during it, but when people ask me what I do for a living, it's really hard for me to give an answer because they don't get it off the first rip. Like when I go into La Villa, the place that I worked with for 7 years, and I run into people eating dinner that were my old customers or that were regulars, I would come in and I would talk to them and be like, oh, what are you doing now? And even though I was still doing it back then, it wasn't full time. Now it is. And sometimes my answer always changes. It's I run my own business and the conversation kind of ends because I don't want to get into it because it's just I don't want to talk. Like,
I can relate.
Or I have a clothing brand and they look at me like, what? You know what I mean? Like, what do you mean? Yeah. What the fuck do you? I don't know how to break that one down for you, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? I have a clothing brand. This is what I do.
I got an answer for you.
Yeah, you know what I'm like.
Ever hear of Nike? It's
yeah,
like
that's
that.
what, you know what I mean. Or
if put designs on
design
pieces of clothing and people buy it and then they wear it.
You know what I mean?
Like,
or like I'm a creative director. Yeah. Or God forbid I hit a 50-year-old from Mill Basin with, yo, I'm a creative director. What the fuck is that? So, but then it makes me start to think that I'm not doing anything. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because you don't understand what I'm doing, and I can't really break it down for you, but like this is how I pay my bills. And I just ran into somebody the other day outside. This restaurant is in a parking lot, and my local Dunkin' Donuts is right there. I go get my coffee. I walk back to my car because I live across the street now. And I saw one of my guys that I used to see all the time, and he was like, "Yo, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm about to go to my warehouse in Coney Island." And he's like, "Oh yeah, like what are you doing there?" I'm shipping orders. Like we ended the conversation with, "Oh, you're paying the bills like everybody else." I'm like, "Yeah," and that made me feel a little bit better. But like just that 30-second conversation about I don't know how to break down what I do to you for a living because you've never met anybody that's given you that answer before. You have never met anybody that has said any of those three things. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, and it makes you think like, damn. It just doesn't validate you, and that's part of the thing where you shouldn't need validation from other people, and not that what I do is just abomination. It's insane. Like it's not like I'm telling you I do OnlyFans for a living. You know what I'm saying? Right. I'm telling you that and shout out to people who do OnlyFans. I'm not knocking them. I'm just saying people are gonna hear that and be like, and look at you like, what the fuck is that? You know what I mean? And when I sit there and I tell people, yeah, I own a streetwear brand for a living, or I can't even tell them I sell clothes for a living because that's so open-ended. Oh, what do you work in a store? Or what do you do this? No, I tell them I own a clothing brand and I sell clothes. And sometimes that conversation just really, it doesn't resonate for certain people. Like my age it does, or maybe a little bit older it does, or if I don't know, it's hard. Like I'm not going to sit there and tell somebody I'm an artist because I never looked at myself like an artist, looked at myself like a creative entrepreneur, if that makes sense. And it's just hard to break down what I do to people who are so on the outside of anything that's creative at all. You know what I mean? No, it's just hard.
The biggest thing that I hate about that conversation is that I wish I had a fucking clothing brand because, bro, at least you could say you have a business. Well, yeah. I'm stuck saying like I'm an influencer. Like that's I don't have a different word to demonstrate really what I am. I get it. And then for me to break that down, it always ends at like how the conversation always ends is like. It's like, oh, gotta do something, right?
Yeah. Or like, you're paying the bills, right?
Yeah, right. Or like, what's a good one? They'll be like, they look at me. I can see like a pity almost,
confused and just
chase the dream or something. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, and yeah,
that's a reflection of them.
Yes.
You know that's a reflection of them.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
For the most part, or just complete ignorance to where the world is at right now.
Well, I mean, my parents had no fucking when I was, and this is a different situation too, but like I was boxing, was given the opportunity by both my parents to drop out of school, and they were like, "Yo, we know you don't want to do this. We'll take that money or half of it and put it into boxing, and you go do that." And then like when that didn't work out, and I didn't have any plan to go on back to school, I was just working as a delivery driver somewhere. And 6 months later, I come home and I'm like, "Oh yeah, by the way, like I started a clothing brand." What? At 22? No, not even 22 years old. I was 20 years old, and I know that they looked at me like, "What?" And maybe that's where the trauma comes from. Maybe now my mother is the most, well, she knows the ins and outs of my business. She helps me with everything, and she's seen it. I've been doing it for 10 years, so it's hard to not see, you know what I mean? But in the beginning, and again, I could also understand it. I can't put myself in their shoes. I can't put myself in my father's shoes, who thought I was going to be a professional fighter, and then it didn't work because he was also my trainer, or like half my trainer at one point. And then like when he wasn't anymore, and I completely 180'd it, he's never met anybody that has a clothing brand. You know what I'm saying? So like I get it. But I think that's where, and that, again, it stems back to the parents. And again, I always like to preface, my parents, I was filled with love my entire life. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm not going to say that I wasn't. They always supported me. They always made sure that I had what I needed to grow up in a non-toxic environment, even though on the back end, and I learned much later that my parents were very toxic, and that's why they got divorced when I was old enough to kind of stand on my own, and they didn't do it when I was young. They really rode through it, and shout out to them for doing that. Yeah. But I think that's where the trauma comes from, where I'm not confident, and I should be. Yo, listen, again, not blowing smoke, but we've done 7 figures in 4 years. I should be confident telling somebody I sell clothes for a living. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not. And I think it kind of stems from when I first started doing it, my parents or the people around me or even my friends, like, what are you talking about, bro? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, what do you mean? I had friends that would say, yeah, that logo looks like it's a Call of Duty logo. You know what I mean? And yeah, I guess it kind of does, but that's not the point. The point is, in the beginning, I had maybe a handful of people who understood what the fuck I was doing. Yeah. And now it's multiple handfuls of people. But at that time, it was only a handful of people. And now when I go and see people that I haven't seen in a couple of years, or pretty much since COVID, and they're like, what are you doing? Are you still doing that? Or it's like condescending. You still doing that little thing? You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck are you talking about? I probably made more money in these 4 years than, you know what I mean? And I'm not confident in it because I never know how to break it down, because it's not always receptive. And maybe that's also why I used to like really going out to the club, because in that scene that I'm in, those people are very receptive to me. They know what I'm doing. They see it, and it's that validation that you search for. And I started to realize how toxic that was, because you can't let the non-validated, the people that are validating you, and the people that are validating you affect you in the way that they are. Yeah. You need to be validating yourself, and then that also leads back to getting closer to God by getting closer to yourself. And that's where I'm at.
And bro, and that's the, hey, like, bro, that sounds the alarm to me. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, bro, I'm outside looking in. Yeah. You're 6 foot fucking 22. You fucking, you know what I'm saying? You're great looking. You got the tattoos. You got the clothing brand. You did this. Bro, like you have no reason to not be confident. Yeah, to not feel peaceful. To not. And the same thing with me, bro. I'm not gonna go on, but I think I'm God's greatest gift.
Absolutely.
But bro, I say I'm God's greatest gift, but if you left me in a room alone, how do I really feel?
Yeah.
Not like that.
Not like that.
So, bro, like that's where I'm like, I'm diving a little in. I'm falling in this like trauma thing now, because I'm like, okay, this actually makes sense. Like, you know, like these trauma people are telling me that there's a reason why I am the way I am, and if I just work on that, you know, maybe I'll feel a little bit better. You know, I had someone in the car was talking to me. I mean, I'm starting to like the same way you're analyzing that fucking electrolyte text. You know, I'm like getting curious with people now, bro. I had a girl the other day, you know, telling me she's been on antidepressants her whole life, this, that, the third thing. And, you know, he's telling me she had anxiety. So I was like, you know, like, I was like, how did that start? You know, typically anxiety, you know, it's thoughts. I was like, how did that start? She's like, well, I started on antidepressants when I was 12. But I lost my mom when I was 11, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, there you go. I mean, there it is, you know. Yeah. So like, you take someone that's like kind of fucked up, and like you ask them questions about themselves, and you find it. You're like, oh, okay, like that, you know. And even if you think you have this great childhood, like, bro, I had a great childhood.
Yeah,
nothing to really complain about.
I had nothing to complain about.
But, bro, when you're on the bus and you're 9 years old or 10 years old and your dad just left the military, and for whatever reason the standard in the household is nothing less than an A, you know, on your report card you got straight C's, you know what waits for you as soon as you walk in the door.
Yeah.
You know, listen, I hitting your kid, people have mixed opinions on that. I would never fucking do that.
Yeah, my parents never did that.
I would never do that.
Yeah.
Because, you know what happened to me in my life? I had major anxiety when I grew up. When I became 21, I had major anxiety. And it was because when I'd be on the bus thinking about getting curb stomped as soon as I walked in for getting a bad grade on a test, that fear didn't leave. It stayed in. So that's kind of the goal now, and that's why, you know, I'm interested in diving deeper into trauma, bro, is because, like, bro, the money's not going to make it better.
No.
The success isn't going to make it better. This isn't, like, I'm kind of looking at myself the same way I would look at a business or anything. Like, if I'm a person that cares about quality and cares about, like, you have a clothing brand, you look at that box, you kind of begin to break it down. I'm like, bro, I never did that about myself.
Yeah.
I never, like, broke myself down. You know, I
realized why you were the way that you were.
Yeah.
Yeah. The things that happened to you. You are the things that happened to you, basically.
And not for the intention of, like, holding on to a story, but more so for the intention of letting something go.
Yeah.
You know, you get to a place, bro, where, like, you know, like, how much more things do I have to do in my life to, like, how many times do I have to feel like I'm learning the same lesson over and over and over, and I keep failing?
Yeah.
You know, and
I think that's the thing about God. I think that even if God sees you not listening to him, it doesn't make him stop teaching.
No.
That's the thing.
Yeah. He's
always going to keep on teaching, even if he sees you not paying attention. Right. And I think from the anxiety standpoint, something that at least I can speak for me, and I'd love to ask you this question too, is anxiety stems for me from situations that I can't control. And I watch Pete Davidson talk about this all the time, about losing his father on 9/11. And he has trust issues because his father was supposed to pick him up from school that day and never showed up. Right. So my question to you is, if you do feel anxiety, we didn't get into it with you, but if you do you think, again, it stems from losing somebody that you had no control over how it happened, or you have no control over that situation? It happened to you. You had no control over it. You had to live with it. You know what I mean? Not say, because you didn't say anything about anxiety, but I'm just assuming that you do, because something happened to you that you have no control over, and because things have happened to me that I've had no control over, not to that extent, whether somebody's breaking up with me or something's just, whatever the case may be, my anxiety stems from wanting to be in control and things happening to me that there was nothing that I could have done to have control over it. And that's where my anxiety stems from. But I want to ask you that question and let you go into a little bit if that's maybe where some of your uncomfortability moving forward since that has stemmed from.
Because you're talking about like trauma and like the way your parents, you know, raised you and stuff like that. And I don't think anything my dad did like affected me negatively at all, like in my current day life, you know, at all. But I know for a fact, I don't know what it is, but I know for a fact, like me losing my mom at 12, like has affected me, and I haven't figured it out. I don't know what aspects of my life has it affected. I see instances where I could see how that could make me feel this type of way or act a certain type of way. But I mean, it's certainly, it's such a, it's like, it's such a weird thing because you don't, I mean, we're talking 15 years ago. So you sit there and think like, how could something 15 years ago affect me today? You know, when there is no real emotion, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, it's Mother's Day in 2 days, you know, like, and I don't, you know, I don't feel like that sad, you know, but then the negative effects that me losing her at such a young age, they have impacted my life. You know, they have created, I would say, attachment issues. I would say trying to hold on to people. I would say losing people. I would say a lot of those things have certainly affected me. And I've always questioned, like, why am I the way I am? You know, and like, if you ask a person, like, who are you? Like, who are you?
You want to ask me that?
Yeah, who are you?
I am.
You are what?
I am.
Am what?
It's the only time in the Bible when God says his name, he says, I am.
Okay. So that's like, if you ask like people, you know, but I'm saying most people
would be like, I am tall. I am.
I am
6'2".
a creative director. I am a football
right.
player. You know, like we do that,
You
right?
define
But like,
yourself.
Right.
Somehow.
but all we are is what you said. Like, when someone asks you who you are the experiences that you have lived through, and you are a mirror of that. You know. So then
that's happened to you.
Yeah. So then when you go back throughout your life and you ask yourself, like, all right, when you really break down the things that you went through, you have to put yourself back in those shoes and remember, like, how did I handle that? What were my emotions? How did I feel? And now, you know, remove yourself 10, 15, 20 years later, you know, am I still acting that same way? Yeah. You know, and that's, but it's hard to even put yourself back and remember how you felt in that. Like, I don't remember anything when I was like 12, you know,
there's to look at yourself from a bird's eye perspective.
Yeah, exactly. You know? So yeah, I would say those are like the main things, is like the attachment, losing people, and it's shown and it's came to light in relationships, I'd say, with, you know, with partners. And I don't know, I almost don't know how do you, like, you know, like, is it a therapist, you know? And I've questioned that, and I've thought about, like, maybe going, you know, and but like, you know, a therapist is almost like finding a partner. It's like, you got to find the right one, you know, you got to find the right therapist, you know, you got to find the person that understands you and understands how to read you and speak to you and say the right things that are actually going to help you. A lot of people think that they're improving their life by just going to a therapist and speaking to someone, but a lot of those people, I mean, call it what it is. I mean, bro, they're there for the check. You stop paying them, they're not there for you anymore. You know, you stop making that payment, you'll never hear from that person ever again. Like, you need a therapist, you need someone that genuinely cares about you. And like, for me, someone that lost a parent, maybe I want to speak to a therapist that lost a parent as a kid, because you're the only person that is going to be able to resonate with how I feel. If I speak to someone that is 50 years old and they still got both their parents, you don't understand what I'm going through. No matter what you could tell me, you don't get it. And like, that's the thing. Like, I always want to learn from people that have done what I want to do or have been through what I've been through. And you can always take a piece from this and that, but like, experience is life's greatest teacher. So if you haven't been through it, or you're not pursuing it, like, you don't get it. We don't speak the same language. So that's what's always hesitated me from therapy, because I'm like, you know, my dad said he went to therapy, and he's like, the lady's crying more than me. You know, how am I supposed to lean on you and gain something from you, and you can't even control yourself? You got more fucking problems than I do. You know, and that's what it is. Like, a lot of people like forget, like, yo, therapists are people too. They got fucking they got more problems than you, because not only do they have their problems, but they're fucking taking in everyone else's problems. So now, regardless, you can't just close that door when you walk out of work and forget all the traumatic shit you heard. You know, so you carry that with you into your life.
You don't need, I feel like, and I've learned this because I've been through two therapists already, and they were both kind of cookie cutter, right? And I didn't need that. I feel like you don't only get therapy from a therapist. You could get therapy from a friend. I am this for a lot of my friends. If any of my friends are going through something, more than likely I'm in the top 3 people that they call for advice. And that's their therapy. This right here, this is therapy for me anyway, right? And I think for all of us, we could kind of, you might not realize it, but this is therapy. So what I would say to that point, because I am somebody that has been through 2 therapists, and I kind of stopped searching for another one because I'm just going to talk to my people. I've been more open with my people that I could trust to give me not an unbiased opinion, but a clearer opinion on what's going on from the outside looking in. I have friends that have girls in my life that are just friends that I love to talk about what's going on in my romantic life, because I could get not only can I get a womanly perspective on it, I could get an outside looking in perspective, unbiased perspective on what's going on. This person knows me for years, right? Like, these therapists only know what you give them. You could honestly fuck therapy up because you could just hold back a little bit. Like, you know what I'm saying? But there are some people out there that are in your life that are just your friend, that know you and can give you maybe a better opinion on what's going on. Not necessarily like from a psychoanalytic opinion. Like, a therapist is trained to do that. I get it. And I'm not saying therapy is wrong. When my father was locked up the last 5 years, he went to a therapist. And but I don't think that you could only get therapy from a therapist. You could definitely find therapy elsewhere, and that's where I'm at if we're going to talk about that. Yeah. I get it from talking to a lot of my really, really close people about what's going on, and even that's hard. Even sometimes, like one of my friends called me the other day, and I told them, I'm like, yo, I got to go to work. I can't really get into I just don't want to, like, you know what I'm saying? And you have to be open to it. You have to surrender to it. You have to just be open and be comfortable with somebody and spew out to them. Because also, when you go to a therapist, like, confidentiality is a legal thing. Like, they can't go and talk to nobody else about it. So you need to go talk to a friend that you trust that's not going to go and spew your dirty secrets out everywhere and shit like that. But you definitely can get therapy elsewhere, and not just from a therapist. Because I'm not against therapy, but I haven't found one that's super right for me yet. You know?
Yeah. Also, like, dude, like, I agree with you guys. Like, but I agree with you guys from when you talk to your boys, that's therapy. Yeah. But there's different types of therapy. Sure. And I don't know anything about therapy, but what I do know is that if you want to heal yourself, or if you want to fix yourself, like, I'm not in the business, bro, of like figuring out why things don't work anymore, bro. I'm just trying to, like, if there's something about me, or if it's my business or this podcast or this or that, I'm like not in the business of like of not doing anything about it anymore, you know. And bro, we're resourceful, and that's kind of where I'm at, you know. And it's really about following your curiosities, you know. I with your right hand, reach behind you, and there's a book right there. Pass me that. So, like, bro, like, you know, like, the healing trauma, I'm sure you could do that with a therapist. It's still something I'm trying to figure out. But, like, bro, right here is a great book on it. Gabor Mate, The Myth of Normal: Trauma, Illness, and Healing in a Toxic Culture. And this is, you know, I mean, bro, this guy Gabor he's been on Joe Rogan many times, been on Chris Williamson, and that's the blessing, bro, of having the internet, you know, of like, dude, like, you could, even if you don't want to sit down with, I really don't want to sit down with anyone yet, because I know what it is. Yeah. Bro, when I hurt my spine, I went to 10 doctors, 6 of them said I needed surgery. I ran 27 miles the other day, and I'm chilling. Yeah. So medicine, like, there's a lot of bad doctors, there's a lot of bad therapists, but that's like why I like the whole personal development thing, because it's personal development. Like, you could have a relationship with yourself, and if you have an issue with trauma, or you have an issue with finances, or you have an issue with God, or whatever your issue is, but you can have your own relationship with yourself, but it actually takes doing something about it. Yeah. You know, that's the thing. Like, and also to kind of come back, because I was speaking about trauma in a compassionate stance. I don't want to be misunderstood, because although I do believe that you might not have been to blame for being the way that you are, because of what has happened to you in your past, it's if you taking that victim mentality will definitely not get you fucking anywhere. So it's really more so like for me, bro, it's I like if you're watching this or listening to this and there's a lot of things about yourself that you don't like, it's okay. It's okay. You know, it's more than okay. Everybody, I'm fucked up, he's fucked up, he's fucked up. The person next to you, there. If you're watching this, bro, you're in the city, you're in the subway, wherever everyone's fucked up. The amount of people that I come across that are like, I'm on antidepressants, or I did this, or I like, bro, we're all fucked up. We're fucked up. So like, I think that like a lot of people have this weird like silent personal relationship with their problems, and we feel like monsters.
Yep.
You're not a monster.
Yep.
You're far from a monster. You shouldn't really blame yourself for the things that have happened to you because, bro, by the time you were even old enough to have an opinion about the way you felt, the damage was done.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do about it? Because now, like, I look at myself, bro, 27 years old. I'm not going to, I'm not going to sit here and say that, all right, like, bro, like, I have anxiety. I feel like I have OCD sometimes. I get depressed. I really struggle with self-worth. I really struggle with a ton, bro, just a ton of shit.
Yeah.
But so I'm not gonna, bro. Like, so the point that I'm trying to get at, bro, is that I'm still, even though I'm not to blame for a lot of the things that have happened to me, I'm still the only one that's gonna solve it. And bro, the same way, like for us, one last thing, and it has to do with God. It's cool you brought that up before, but I was watching this movie, The Prestige.
Okay.
You ever see that?
Magician?
Yeah.
Never seen it. Heard of it.
And in the movie, bro, there's this guy, Nikola Tesla, Nikola Tesla is like one of the most famous inventors ever, you know. Like,
created electricity, I think.
Yeah, like something to do with
Something
electricity,
like
yeah. And he said he got to a point where if he saw something in his mind, he wouldn't even have to run a test on it because every time he saw something in his mind, he'd bring it into reality and it would always work. So, like, the point is that this is a scientist that was building these complex machines. Wouldn't even have to make something because he knew that if he thought it, it would work. And that's, you know, to me, that is, you know, a doubling down on visualization, on, bro,
like manifestation.
on manifestation, on, bro, the Bible, asking it is given. But if you don't ask, you're not going to get it. And if you don't know what you want, you're definitely not going to get it. So, you know, I think step one, bro, is step one would be unfucking yourself.
Yeah.
Step one would be like, let me like get to a place where I feel good, and then step two would be, like you said before, purpose. But it's purpose isn't hard, bro. It smacks you in the face. Like, it's, you know, like whatever.
You don't have to go and find your purpose. Yeah. You don't go and find your purpose finds you.
Yeah.
And that's how you know it's your fucking purpose. That's why, like, again, I always, real quick, I never had any thoughts on starting a clothing brand, but like what you just said always validates the fact that I have a clothing brand. But fuck the clothing brand, the mantra behind the clothing brand. One of the things that you just said is that we're all fucked up. And the first thing that came to my head is, yeah, we're all at war with something. So it just always just kind of like circles back to, like, that's my purpose. You guys asked before, like, I forgot what it was. What do you want out of life, or what's your inspiration, and yada yada. And I was like, freedom and taking care of my people and yada yada. But also one of my inspirations is making everybody feel seen, right? Because I didn't always feel seen, even though I was always seen, if that makes sense. Can't hide, 6'5", 300 pounds, tattoos out the gills. Can't hide, you see me. But do you see me? I never felt seen. I always felt misunderstood. I'm a big teddy bear, if you know me, at the end of the day. And then sometimes I think that maybe boxing was just a front. I'm good at it, and I'll be like, I could. My dad didn't want me to be a fighter. My dad wanted me to protect myself. Just always wanted me to have hands to be able to protect myself. And but that I'm way more of a lover than I am a fighter. But looking at me, you would never know that. Looking at me, you would think Neanderthal. You know, so I always felt seen. I felt seen because you could see me, but I was always out there, but I was never seen for who I actually was.
The way that you wanted to be seen.
The way that I wanted to be seen. I was always misunderstood. Like, I think Lil Wayne has that tattoo where it's misunderstood over here, right? Yeah. And I always just used, like, I never really understood it until I felt it, you know? And that's why I could really resonate with the don't judge a book by its cover. I've been denied from clubs because of how I look. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that sounds stupid, and I know there's people out there, even racially, that deal with that way more than I deal with it. But I could resonate with it a little bit because I am not what I look like. Yeah. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. No, I felt that was one of the tattoos that I wanted. It's a wolf wearing a sheep's head. Yeah. And there was just this artwork, and bro, I lost it. I had deleted like all the pictures out of my phone on accident. I was like trying to clear up space on a computer, and I deleted my iCloud photos, and I went on my phone, and every single photo from 2014 was gone. No. Yeah, it was bad.
That's rough.
But that I always remember that tattoo was there, and I wanted that same one, bro. It just looked so cool because I felt that resonated me, because like that was my identity a lot with basketball. You know, like I was the skinny white kid, like undersized. You know, you wouldn't think I was a hooper, you know, but like when I played,
I'm gonna burn you.
Yeah, it was different, but I always felt that way where like you know, people can look at you a certain type of way, and they immediately have a judgment of the way that they think you are. And until they actually get to know you and see you for who you are, you know, that judgment is going to stay the same. And that's a tough way to go about your life a lot, you know, when every time you step into a room or every time you go somewhere, you feel like these people don't get me, you know, like they don't understand me. They don't know what I've been through. And maybe that's an egotistical thing to think that everyone should understand you, but it's also degrading sometimes, because you're like, I know the way that you're viewing me right now, and it's like you don't even get it. You know, you don't even get it, and then you can really stress yourself out by trying to make people know who you are by going out of your way, and now you're taking away from who you actually are, because you're trying to
you're shouting it from the rooftops.
Exactly, you're trying to create a perception of how you want people to view you, and it's this back and forth, and but yeah, no, I certainly I always felt that way, you know. For me, and it wasn't like a physical thing, you know, it was maybe more of a mental thing, right? Or like the way that, you know, you could go, like, I mean, call it for what it is, bro. Like, I was always the white dude playing basketball, you know, I was always the minority, right? And then when I would go away to school, like, I always got looked at like, bro, like the way that like they look at white dudes is like, oh, you're like the frat dude, like chugging beers, like doing this, you know, like you got this, and you listen to this type of music, and you like this type of shit, and you dress this way.
They defined you before you even opened your mouth.
Yeah, and I didn't, you know, and then like when I was in Alabama, I remember like I had a teammate that said to me, he was like, yo, like I didn't know white people were actually cool. He's like, yo, he's like, honestly, he's like, you're my first white friend I've ever had. He's like, yo, you're actually pretty fucking cool. I'm like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, but that's sad though, to even have someone of the other race say that to me, because it's like, how was your life growing up with white people? You know, and that made me look at it like, because like I grew up very in a diverse community, and then to talk to someone that didn't grow up around any type of white people, he finally came across, you know, a white person that he actually got to know, and he was like, yo, you are actually cool. Like there are actually like cool white dudes out there. Like it's sad to realize that like, you know, people actually live that way, and then people actually look at, you know, whites or blacks or Hispanics a certain type of way because of their location and where they were brought up, you know, like, and we all have this misconception. So like, that's why I always felt that, like, you know, don't judge a book by its cover, because like, but I'm also not, because I always like didn't like the like white dude trying to be black,
Yeah.
know? And like sometimes I got that because I have tattoos. It's like, bro, I have tattoos because my mom died and I wanted to honor her and I like tattoos. It has nothing to do with me trying to be who I'm not. So I felt both sides of like, you're trying to be black or you're a white dude, you know? And it was like, it was always annoying for me. So
yeah, I think
I certainly feel that.
We're all in our own way misunderstood. And when I say we, I mean like all fucking 7 billion people, however many people are on this planet. You know what I mean? We're all, we all have no control over how people perceive us.
And at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, that's
really doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, that's the end all be all.
That it really doesn't fucking matter.
If you just sit down and have a conversation with either of us, you'd realize like who we are. Instead of just judging the book by its cover. So
good app.
It's good app.
Felt good to be back.
Felt really good to fucking be back.
Pizza?
Lots of school.
I'm down.
No fucking way.
Come on.
I've been doing good.
Come
bro.
on.
All right, fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's only 10:30 anyway. Let's go.
See you next time.